Hi, and good evening, and welcome to Tottenham Tantrum Gold, your home here classic games, classic content, and classic debate. Tonight, we have a legend on our show. He is the one, he is the only. He comes from Kildare. He will beat Colin McGregor, all of them, all into one. He is the motivator. He is the man that will kick any of them players up the arse. He is the one, he is the only, Mr. Dave Harris. How are you this morning, Dave, or this evening?
No, look, I'm in flying form today. I got the haircut. I feel good. No, look, I just want to say, first of all, I absolutely love that countdown video. I absolutely love it. Credit. Yeah, honestly, it just made me smile. You gotta absolutely love it. So, credit to Phil for the work on that, and it's absolutely brilliant. And look, I'm no legend by no means. I'm just one of you guys. I'm a fan of the club, just like everybody else, and it's an absolute honor to be here. Thanks for having me, lads.
No problem. And next year, well, this man needs no introduction. He's an artist. He is Matt Letizier's twin brother, we think. DNA, Jeremy Kyle job there. He is the one, he is the only, Phil Letiz, and he's from Hollywood as well. How are you, Phil, this evening? And thank you once again for your hard work on that intro. I tip my hat off to you, sir. Absolutely fantastic job.
It's fine. Yeah, no, I'm all good. Thanks. Yeah, nice, busy day, set for the weekend. So good to go. Looking forward to Dave's team, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to play this bit intro for our last guest. Hang on, get this going. Hang on. He is the man who puts the Undertaker to shame. He will be anyone's hitman. It's my mate and your mate, Kuba99. How are you, Coop?
I thought you were about to invite somebody else on, mate. Yeah, doing all right, AF, actually. Cheers. Not sure about the music, though. I'm Chaz and Dave all the way, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't get Chaz and Dave. Do you want to go through the comments, Coop and Phil, and see who's in tonight?
Yeah, quick say hello to everyone. Carl Simpson, evening, mate. They said evening, gents. Hope you're all having a great day, and hello, chat. True Sets 3, good of you to join us again, mate. Seriously great work, Hollywood quality, beat Phil a legend. Yeah, absolutely, it was a great piece of work, that. Still a bit choked up watching it now.
Yeah.
Mark Cousins, evening, lads. I'd sit and watch the intro for hours. Big up, Hollywood, Phil. Absolutely. True Sets 3, nice to see winners. Indeed. That's what the club's about. Bloody trophies. True Sets 3, men who got stuck in for the badge and the supporters. Damn right. Gaza, a proper legend. Love this intro. Who doesn't love Gaza?
Everyone.
Go on, Phil. Do you want to do a couple?
If I KO someone today, it's Phil's fault for the hype. Bless him. Thank you, Truth. Irish Hotspur, big up to Dave, legend in the house. And we have Ryan. Adama deal done, apparently. It looked like it was close, but yeah.
He just slipped away at the last moment, didn't he?
Big up, Brian, my Irish brother. Big up, sir. And I hope it's nice and dry up in Derry for you.
Okay. Ben's in the house. Good afternoon, Ben. Hope you had a good show this afternoon, my man. And then we have Emily. Oh, hello, Emily. Big up, guys. Big up the Irish Hotspur. There we go. And working our way through. Every Irishman has a heavy bag and boxing gloves. It's like a toothbrush for us.
That's for sure.
Matthew Collins. Good evening, Dermot, Cuba, Phil, and David. Come on, you Spurs. Ben Kaufman, President 2024. Well, stranger things have happened. And again, Matt, I'm still hungover from that victory.
Yeah. Can I just say, I'm surprised Phil's still here because we watched it privately. I think Phil just went into orbit. And I think he's just about to come back down to earth because we lost him for about 5 minutes after that.
Looked a little bit like a dolphin being electrocuted on a sofa.
It actually did, funnily enough, thinking back on it, yeah.
I rewound it and watched the last 5 minutes about 7 or 8 times through the night. I can't get enough of it.
I don't know, is that better or Ajax is better? I don't know which is better or the same.
Ajax because of the occasion, but this is the new mentality now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, and then Carterman, evening Carterman. Hi guys, wonderful intro. Thank you. Matt, I'm hearing that we've agreed a 22.5 million deal with Wolves. That's interesting. That's the second person in the comment in the last few minutes.
It's not confirmed, but it's looking like on all sides everything's agreed.
Yeah.
Well, that'll help us with accurate crosses into the box then.
We have Stevie. I just don't think you understand. There's a couple of banging tunes going around at the moment. And then big up to Matthew. Again, this channel was brilliant.
Thank you very much. Very kind.
And then my little brother. So Bergwijn to stay or to go now?
Should he stay or should he go now?
Yeah.
He's the spitting image, lad. Big up, Simon.
Yeah.
Simon Letizia.
Matt Letizia has got something to do with your family, Phil, somewhere along the line. You've got to be related somewhere. Who do you think you are? He's got to be a cousin or somewhere along there. Because every time I look at Phil, and I've seen this picture's brother, you have the spit image of Matt Letizia. It's actually quite frightening how you look like you are.
Wow. So what would you do then? If you had, there's a one-word answer, Dave, keep or let him go?
Right now, I know what I've said about the guy, but as of the 2 goals against Leicester, I think you got to give him his chance until the end of the season.
All right, Cuba.
Yeah, if he can stay fit to the end of the season, maybe he's proving something then. But got a feeling he won't, and we'll just see the injuries all over again.
That's the problem. Dermot, what's your view on him?
Give him to the end of the season. I think he deserves it after that performance. It's a good impact substitute, so if we need somebody to come on for the last 5-10 minutes, then I think keep him there for that.
I mean, if he didn't play again this season, has he done enough for a good status at the club this season?
Not really. I don't think he's done enough. We've got patches.
Yeah.
I think it's been more of a disappointment than a success. But maybe under Conte he'll get a good run of fitness now and a good run of games now. So
Conte has said a couple of times. He has said a couple of times that he does see Adam as an important part of what he wants to do. And I'm not sure whether it's like an impact sub or what it is, but we have when he first came in, he did say that he's seen Bergwijn as backup to Kane maybe up front. And I think if we don't sign a striker, I think that's maybe why we'll end up keeping him.
Maybe the Adama being an important part of what he wants to do is just confirming he's going to walk away in the summer.
Oh, please don't, Hoover.
Never mind. Just a thought.
Hoover putting down on us all here, thinking Conte's gone.
Should I go and stick a 5 in that on the bookies, Hoover, now on that recommendation?
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
All right, back to Mark Cousins. So Ajax definitely, because I was ranked in the pub. I don't know what that means, but okay. Yeah. Ryan Derry Derma. I love that win, especially after Leicester fans singing "It's happened again," and Tottenham gets battered. Stevie B slushed them. You'd love to see it. Apparently, listening to it, there was a lot. They spent the whole night sort of chanting, anti-Tottenham songs. So
yeah.
But God, that stadium emptied quickly, didn't it? At the end. Hilarious.
I love Lucas nicking your man's woolly hat. I think that was so funny.
Yeah.
So nicks the hat, chucks it.
A nice typical Tottenham fan. To be honest, I won't believe Adama's here until he's holding the shirt.
Yeah.
Yep.
He won't be able to hold on to it with all that oil, though, will he? He'll keep slipping.
Okay, CM, do you think we'll get Kessie? Interesting one there. What's your view on that, Dave? And what kind of player is he? Do we need him?
Look, all I'd say is with Ndombele maybe going the other way to PSG maybe. AC Milan maybe looking at Tanganga and they're seriously looking at him. And Roma also have expressed a bit of an interest in Ndombele as well. So the rumours to Kessie maybe getting a deal done this January transfer window, and the rumours of maybe your man Vertout or whatever you want to call him from Roma. Just pay close attention to them, because from my understanding of the situation is if we can offload Ndombele in some capacity this window, it frees up wages and that for us to be able to bring in 2 or 3. But again, we're Tottenham Hotspur, so look, we could end up Spursy in this window. You just don't know. But from what I've been told, and my understanding is that's what's in play right now when it comes to these deals. And the reason why Spurs are looking at getting it done in January with Kessie and not on a pre-contract is because there's other clubs circling Kessie. They want him, and they're all waiting to do the pre-contract. So if Spurs want him, they're going to have to do it this January because they won't be able to compete with what other clubs will be able to offer him on the pre-contract. In terms of will he be a good fit for Tottenham? Look, I'm a bit undecided on this guy, to be honest with you. I like him. Like, don't get me wrong. I think he's better than the Celso, better than an Ndombele, better than Dele Alli. So in that case, I would bring him in. And he's a bit of an all-rounder, to be honest. He does the defensive side of the game very good, and he can go forward, and he can pass the ball as well. So, look, he'd improve the team 100%, and he'd probably help us between now and the end of the season for top 4. But it's even bringing this guy in, it's not enough for me. I would like a deep line playmaker. It's clear to see that with going for Kessie and Vertout, that we are looking for like a more of a box-to-box midfielder, maybe to come in and help out Skip and Højbjerg. But me, I think what we're crying out for is like a deep line playmaker. But pay attention to these to Vertout and Kessie and Ndombele because a lot depends on this over the next couple of days.
Yeah, let's hope. Well, let's just hope whatever's happening, we just get him out. I mean, those 3 players you just named, Ali, Lo Celso, and then Ndombele, £500,000 a week in wages.
Yeah,
none of them are even close to starting, are they? None of us are putting in any of those 3 in the team for Sunday, are we? It's like, tough away fixture at Chelsea. Let's start those 3. Not going to happen. It's just an absolute waste of money now.
Yeah. Matthew Collins, he's saying Stephen Bergwijn is staying, quite possibly. Ben Kaufman, the big up mate. The best thing was watching the legendary reaction from Sir David Harris of Kildare, Shawnee Boy, the mathematical mind of Surrey, and the statistician Jack Kinecki. God, I can do everything except for the bit I know bloody well.
You still on that Jaffa Cake rum, Coover?
No, it's all gone, mate. That's the problem, I think. Need more. Ryan McFarlane, big up, mate. Keep him. There's a good player there. Just needs to stay fit. That's the key to everything, isn't it? Staying fit. CM, big up, mate. Conte said in his interview he sees Stevie as a striker. Could be. Well, the way he finished off those 2 looks like it. Rebecca Smetham, good evening. Good evening, guys. Looking good, Mr. Hollywood.
Can't argue with that. Sounds an intelligent girl.
Got a fan club. Right, the truth sets free. David Harris, you're a legend because you created a channel that brought tons of people together during a pandemic from all over the world. I mean, Dermot and Coover and Phil seem like best friends from 1986. Well, that's a long time ago, so you get sick of people after a while, don't you?
Are you still talking, Coover?
Is that Git still here? Where is he? Oh, sorry, Phil.
Yeah, Mark Cousins said was meant to say tanked, bloody autocorrect. I like it. Ranked in the pub. It just sounded okay. Yeah,
sounds way better.
Yeah. Matthew Collins said Frank Kessié is class. Yeah, I'm not sure about him either, but he does seem an upgrade from what we got in certain positions at the moment. Big Boss Man.
Good evening, Big Boss Man. Go on, Dave. Do the woo.
Woo!
Yes,
and now Phil, you do your woo woo. Go on.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Feel the burn. Oh, electric. Matthew Collins saying, how cool would it be if we sold Ndombele and Dele in this window? Very cool indeed.
I'm hearing Newcastle are very interested in Dele. He wanted them at Bournemouth twice. The manager, Newcastle manager. So I think that's the loan deal that could be done this window. I think if things get
the loan deal, direction. That's the trouble. Loan deal, and then we'll get him back again.
Should be a loan to buy.
Matthew saying Frank Kessié is miles better than Thomas Partey at Arsenal.
I think you and I are better than Frank. Than Thomas Partey. What did he manage last night? Quarter of an hour before he got sent off. quality.
Something like
We
that.
really should be giving him a minute's round of applause, to be honest.
Yeah.
He'll be taking the Xhaka trophy at the end of the season.
Yeah. They're probably arguing over
and then
it
get
right now.
investigated for it. Yeah,
Does that mean now their game will be postponed this weekend if he's out?
probably they've got to fix something else, haven't they? A few brown paper envelopes going around that place. Big Moss man saying, "Don't drop the soap." Kev Williams said, "Ndombele and Dele are like huge weights off negativity pulling down our club. Get rid." Absolutely.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that.
GK Clarkey, Conte likes versatile players. Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He also likes hard-working players. That's the even more important, I think. Matthew Collins, 100 million on both Ndombele and Lo Celso is madness. Yeah, but we're the only club that do that. Matthew Collins, it would be nice if Conte gives Stain Scarlett a good chance. I think he might be a bit young, but you never know. He's getting more and more experience just training with the first team all the time now, isn't he?
He was definitely there in the squad the other night, wasn't he? But
yeah.
I don't know. It would be interesting to know Dave's view, but for me, he just doesn't look like he could cope with the rigours of Premier League football week in, week out. He's certainly not a Wayne Rooney. I know he's talked in the same breath, but it just doesn't seem that he's physically there yet. What's your view on that, Dave?
Do you know what? I really like this kid. I actually do believe in this kid. I do think he is going to go places. I mean, when he's playing in his own age group, maybe the under-21s and stuff like that, because he even scores for England when he's playing on their teams when he's called up. Do you know what? He probably just needs a loan, to be honest with you. I think maybe all right, Phil. Maybe the physicality side of things, maybe he's struggling with. But he has bulked up from last year to this year. He has bulked up a bit, but he probably just needs a bit more. He probably needs them games in the leg, because with him starting to then play regular games, it develops muscles in your legs and stuff like that. And it just makes you ready, and it'll give him more of a fighting chance coming back into Tottenham, I think. I think if Troy Parrott came back this summer, I think you might see a bit of a difference in Troy Parrott playing week in, week out for down in the lower division. But plus, you learn things, like you learn the dark arts of the game. You learn the little bits of the tricks in the trade going down into them lower leagues, and it's a crucial football and education, in my opinion. But where I was at with this guy is, and I've always stated this, I would have rather kept him and let him have the games that Carlos Vinicius got for Tottenham last season. And that's why I wasn't, like, don't get me wrong, I did say we needed backup, but I wanted quality backup. And if we weren't going to get it, I would much rather Dane Scarlett get the minutes than what Vinicius did. But looking at it now, with maybe Bergwijn coming back and stepping into it, if he can produce this for the next while, well, then I think Dane Scarlett will probably have to go out on loan, because playing down in the under-23s, it's not doing anything for him. We already know he's too good, so he has to go out on loan.
Yeah, I think it seems pretty sensible, doesn't it? Terry writes, "Evening, mate. Big up, gents."
Good evening, Terry.
Matthew again saying, "Arsenal going to postpone our rearranged match versus due to losing party to a red card." Yeah, probably. Wouldn't be surprised if they try and postpone games they're not even playing. Matthew Collins again. Who's that young right back we brought in from Chelsea?
Lavinia.
Yeah. Why doesn't he get a chance as well? Yeah.
I
Terry
think some
Wright.
of these young players need to get a chance. I think it's ridiculous that none of these young players are not trying to get experience.
Timing and circumstances, isn't it? If you throw them in with all the expectations in the world on their back, sometimes it breaks them as well. So you have to sort of carefully manage it, I think. But yeah.
Do you know what, though, Kuva? 100% I get what you're saying, but like, what they could have done is played more cup games now. They could have played more cup games over the last couple of years. Like, we already lost Dennis Sirkin to Sunderland purely because he wanted to go out and play. He thought he was good enough to be at least be given game time in the cup game. So he left, he refused the contract, went to Sunderland. Noni Madueke at PSV, who we are looking at. He's actually a Spurs boy. He came through the academy, again, left, refused to sign the contract because he thought he was better than some of the backup players that were playing in cup games. So he backed himself to go out and play first team football. And Harvey White's going to end up doing the same eventually. So we haven't been giving them any chances whatsoever because it's been taken up by the likes of Dele Alli, Ndombele, the Southside. If you want to go before then, Serge Aurier, Sissoko, and all them sort of players. It's been taken up by them over the last few years, so they haven't even got a chance in cup games to come in and show what they can do. They haven't even barely got a chance to even get on the bench in cup games. And then even when they did get on the bench, they couldn't be brought on because we have to bring on some of our first team players to save some of these guys' asses over the last few years. They've been hard done by at Tottenham. The opportunities haven't been there. They've been blocked by a lot of Steve Hitchens signings.
Absolutely. I've always thought that we should be concentrating on try and attempt to get a world-class first 11 with 5 or 6 great backup players and then fill the rest out with youth. Seems a sensible way. Instead of 2 players for every single position, half of them are not going to play anyway. What's the point? Like you said, just squad full of rubbish then.
And as well, as much as we hate them, I mean, you look at Arsenal. The reason why the likes of Smith Rowe and Saka and that have come through is because over the years, they've been able to get their experience in the likes of cup games, UEFA Cup games and stuff like that, whereas ours haven't.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. We're always so late to bring them into, and if we do bring them in, usually getting on for like 23 or something before people make debuts. It's crazy. Terry Wright saying it sounds like Adama deal is close. Would love to see him playing right wing back against Chelsea this weekend. I think it'll be too late for that if he's signed now. Would have had to have signed him yesterday, I think, to have any chance.
Is it by midday today? They've got to get any players. I think today's the deadline. If they would have signed him yesterday, I think today's the deadline to get it in over the.
Could well be. Yeah. I'll know it's too late come this evening anyway. So
yeah.
Matthew Collins saying, I went for my second vaccine today and heard 2 Arsenal supporters say they want our Scarlet. Jog on. Interesting. Well, yeah, compared to what they got, of course they want him. Terry Wright, now that Dyer is back, do you see Rodon getting moved out in this window? Quite possibly, although unless we're getting another centre-back. If we get another centre-back, then definitely I could see him going. If it's not him, it's Tanganga, I would have thought. But yeah, I've not seen a lot of point in keeping Rodon if he's not going to play anyway. Then we got Kev Williams saying, lads, do you think that the way in which we won at the Leicester game will push us into achieving a win versus Chelsea? Certainly sets you up for it, doesn't it? It gives you a bit of confidence. Nice bit of resilience shown by the team. Yeah.
We've got to break that hoodoo at the bridge. We really do.
And great togetherness, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The way all the lads were celebrating at the end of that. Conte seemed to have his mojo back. He was going wild. It's good signs, isn't it?
I want to ask a question on that, actually. And I'll start with Dave and I'll go around you, Phil, then you, Cooper. Dave, do you think, I heard it somewhere saying, do you think it was because he knew they didn't have players to beat Chelsea, that he seemed a bit downcast? Or do you think there was something else happening behind the scenes? But it's got resolved now. That's why he looked different against Leicester.
Look, I think Conte looked at the situation and was like, look, we're probably not going to win this game. But that's why we have to remember, the reason why Matt Doherty played left wing back was because Reguilon had a hamstring injury. Session was only coming back from injury. So... look, you look at the Galini one, I think that probably tells you everything you need to know. Probably did throw in the towel, to be honest with you. But we also have to remember, he had the North London derby that weekend. He didn't know it was going to be called off. So I think he kind of weighed it up, and it's like, do we throw everything at this cup semi-final, or do we throw everything at the North London derby at the weekend? And I think he pinpointed what meant most to fans. And that's what he was going for, was the North London derby at the weekend, in my opinion. And I do think he threw the cup. I do think he threw the cup semi-final. I'm not happy about it. I think it's wrong. I mean, I believe we should go for a crack. But he's looking at his squad, and he knows what Daniel Levy has sacked other managers on for before, which is not making top 4. So, I think Conte weighed it up, and it's like, well, if I do want to continue on at the end of the season, I have to go for top 4. And the North London derby would have been a good momentum push for it. It was postponed, and we weren't to know that. If we knew that was going to be postponed, you would have seen a full strength team against Chelsea, 100%. But look, we got the bounce off the Leicester game, and for me, when we go into this Chelsea game this weekend, I don't want to see us sit off. I really don't, because That's what these teams want. With all their technical players, they want you to sit off them and allow them to do what they're good at. Get up in their faces, press them high like we did against Leicester. And that's why I think going 3-5-2 is going to be so important, because although Winks didn't have the best of games against Leicester, what he did do was actually allow Højbjerg and Skip to join the press. And that's why we were able to turn the ball over. If you look at Tielemans, when Leicester were trying to put it into him to be able to play out, that was the pinpoint of our press. And Højbjerg was straight up behind him, turning the ball over. So I think formation has to be the same that was against Leicester, but also allowed Skip and Højbjerg to get forward and turn the ball higher up the pitch. Because with Chelsea, when we're sitting back, they're coming on top of us. When we win the ball back, we're in our own box and trying to get out. You know, because Chelsea have us pressured, we're trying to get out and we can't play through the gaps to be able to do it. Then we're going long to Kane. And then Kane's looking at us because he's up against 3 centre-backs. So it's kind of like, what are we supposed to do? So I think what we found against Leicester is a formation that we can use going forward, that we know will create chances, and that we know we can be on the front foot playing it.
Yeah. Phil, same to you. And what did you do? I mean, you weren't quite impressed with Højbjerg on Wednesday. Would you drop him for the Chelsea game? And who would you bring in to replace him? And also with Conte, do you think now he's got whatever resolve in the background done with now?
Yeah, I think having re-watched it, I think he did step up a little bit in the second half. It was just his touch was off a little bit in the first half for me. It was a couple of times he broke down the left-hand side. But when you re-watch it, it's like Winks goes one way and it creates a bit of space in the middle, and him and Skip sort of filled it. So I would probably... The only change I would possibly make would be Sessegnon at left wing back would be the only change. Apart from that, he's got to start with the same. Stevie B to come on later on. But it was, again, that was quite a bold substitution because he took off his wing back, didn't he? And Stevie B clearly played at striker. So, even your man Doherty had an okay second half.
Yeah, he did.
That hurt. But yeah.
Doherty, he did play well, and Phil has slagged me for supporting him, I have to say. But I think he played all right.
I was waiting for the goal to Bergwijn's first one to be chalked off for a handball.
Yeah.
When you're like, it's just got to be. But, for once, the gods were overlooking us. So, but for me, same 11, similar formation.
Doherty must have been listening to me refusing to give him a happy birthday, so he got angry and said, right, I'll show him.
I'll tell you, Dave, you're the only man that can make me change my mind. I started off wishing him a happy birthday. By the end of it, I was agreeing with you. It was so fun. Kuva, with Conte, do you think he'd be really up for this game at Chelsea? And do you think he would love to get one over his own employees?
Yeah. Let's move on, man. Right.
Yeah.
Well, of course he will. He's going to want to prove a point, isn't he? He's going to want to win some trophies and ram them down Chelsea's throat. Let's have an FA Cup.
Would you start with the same team as Wednesday, or would you make any changes?
We're kind of a bit limited, aren't we, at the moment? We've still got injuries, Sonny, and we don't know if Dyer's back, do we? It's a bit...
Dyer from the press conference today, Dyer might be actually okay to play on Sunday.
That'll make a difference, certainly. I think Emerson sounded like he was dodgy. They said something about his injury. He was in quite a lot of pain when he came off. So, if we're starting Doherty at wing back, he showed he did quite well in the last game. So why not give it a go? As maybe starting as we finished almost, rather than starting. Yeah. So why not? Yeah. Matthew Collins here is saying that how on earth do we sell a quality player to Blackburn Rovers?
I guess he was just out of contract, wasn't he? And it was like, if he doesn't accept, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, unfortunately.
So it's all about that clause. If there's a buyback clause that's favourable for both parties, it can be quite a good bit of business because it's basically loaning him out long term. Bit of security for Blackburn to put in the effort with him, and a bit of security for us to buy him back if he does really well.
Was there a buyback clause on that, Covey? Yeah.
I heard there was, but
I thought there's a sell-on. There's a sell-on clause, so it might work. It might still work in your favour because obviously instead of the sell-on, they could sell back to us and wipe that fee. So there's definitely something in there. But either way, the frustration there is you have this unbelievable youth academy. We're out buying youth. You know, it's like, where's your finished article? How do you get from youth academy or prospect to, you know, your Harry Kane? You think what he's been through, in and out of loan moves all over the place. Then you go, right, let's stick with it and persevere. And, you know, it turned out all right.
See, Phil, back in the day, you had the reserve squad. Mickey Hazard was saying this. He had the reserve squad to bridge that gap, so you could come in and see if you were good enough. And the cup games, unfortunately, is what that is nowadays. You know, that sort of that bridge between the two. And it was like we were discussing earlier. It's been clogged up.
Oh, if only we had another cup competition, we could have played about 10 to 12 more games in.
Which one's that, Coof?
I don't know. Some bit of travelling around Europe could have been nice. Bit of experience.
Not the Champions League. No, not that one. Not that one, mate.
No. That's next season.
What's it called?
Yeah, that's right. That's next season when we go into the reigning league champions.
Oh, that cup, the Corrupt Cup. Right, yeah, I know that one. Yeah,
that's the one. Matthew Collins saying, from what I'm hearing, Tanganga could be a £25 million pound. Here we go to AC Milan. Could be.
I'm actually got a bit of breaking news. I've heard it somewhere that Newcastle have started preliminary talks with Dele Alli's agent and all that about a move up to Newcastle. So
we heard this rumour ages ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
Nothing happening so far. It's not concrete yet, but
no.
Sounds promising. They got money to waste, that's for sure.
Yeah. And
that would be a waste of money. Amir Sada saying, great channel, top banter. Smash that subscribe button. Let's get the lads to 300 subs. Come on, you Spurs. Let's smash Chelsea on Sunday. Let's hope so. Good of you to join us again, mate.
Thank you.
Right.
And we've got Eugene at the end there, at the bottom. Good evening, Eugene. Thank you for joining us again.
Sorry. Hello, Eugene. Yeah, and he's also saying smash the like and subscribe, thanks. Yeah, thank you, Eugene. Will do. Right. Should we do a little bit of your best ever Spurs 11, David?
Yeah.
You prepared for this, my friend?
I am.
I can't read or talk now.
And also, we would like your 5 favourite Spurs moments as well afterwards.
You just keep going through the comments for 1 second because I want to put this into the community section on the channel for you.
So, Dave, I guess we've got to start with what as obviously your top Spurs 11 from your lifetime. So when were you sort of starting to follow the mighty Tottenham?
Oh, lad, when I was in my ma's womb, to be honest with you. Before I was born. No, look, when I first started supporting Tottenham, I would have been about 3 years old when I first started remembering. Like, you know, I got the first kit. I got it's a navy Hewlett Packard sponsored jersey by Pony. I think it was made by Pony. I had the full kit. That's the very first thing I remember getting for. I think it was for my birthday, and then the old lad used to bring me out and playing in the park and stuff like that. And then the old lad was going to games. The old lad was going down to the lane and stuff like that. So then he started bringing me with him. So you know, I was going up to White Hart Lane till I was 8 years of age, from 3 till 8 before we moved back to Ireland.
Nice.
So that would have been so I was born in 91. So from about 93, 94 up until 2000.
So you were 93. You were there when Ozzy was manager.
Yeah.
The good news is you can have Judas then.
He'll never ever make my starting 11. He didn't even cross my mind.
There was something on YouTube the other day. I saw it and I meant to share it to Coover. It was the thing of the channel. The thing of the stream was why it was a good decision for Judas to leave Tottenham. Honest to God, I didn't even look at it, but I thought to myself. And there was an Arsenal fella doing the YouTube channel. I thought, what a load of crap.
Well, yeah. On the other hand, much as I hate him, he did go on and win stuff, didn't he? So he did all right out of it.
Yeah. Did you see that picture the other day about the fella that went to court? He was wearing an Arsenal top.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, and apparently the joke was going around. He was hoping to get his sentence postponed.
Oh, come on, Dave, move on quick.
Right, yeah. Okay, let's just.
I'm not known for my jokes, I know that, but I'm trying.
So,
I'm going to bring up the little team sheet like we did for like we did for Jack when he was on.
Yeah, I'll tell you
What sort of formation are you looking at, David?
do you know what? I'm toying with this one. Right, I've been toying with
Okay.
this one. I don't know whether to go with the old traditional 4-4-2, or do I want to change it to a 4-2-3-1? And I think I am going to change this to a 4-2-3-1. Sorry for messing you about on this one.
No,
but
that's fine.
It's a
all
bit of a
flexible,
madness,
isn't it?
but it's a good team. Honestly, it's going to win trophies. This team.
There we go. Oh, I hate how they get the number in here. How can you not have number 2 at right back? It annoys me that.
Play too much Football Manager, lad.
Well, I used to play right back most of the time when I played, so I was used to having number 2. I just didn't like it any other way. But there we go. Anyway, let's mess about with that. Okay, let's first of all, how about your goalkeeper then, David?
Well, for me, it's the one and only Hugo Lloris, to be honest with you. In my lifetime, I mean, look, I grew up watching a bit of Ian Walker and stuff like that. Not a big fan. But you look at Hugo Lloris, I mean, we paid 10 million plus add-ons for the guy back in 2012. And I mean, he's just been a rock since he's come in. I mean, you talk about value for money. And as well, this is a guy that loves Tottenham because at the time, he could have went to anywhere in Europe. I mean, there's so many big clubs circling him. There's PSG in France. You also have Madrid, Barcelona. You know, they're all scouting him. They're all interested in him. And he came to Tottenham. And for me, he actually restored my faith in goalkeepers, to be honest with you. You know, because before I just, apart from maybe Paul Robertson, a lot of Spurs goalkeepers down the years have just pissed me off, you know, making stupid mistakes. But with Hugo Lloris, he's been a consistently good goalkeeper. And for me, he's took from what we had in goals from maybe average Premier League average goalkeepers to having a genuine world-class goalkeeper, and made me appreciate goalkeepers. Made me actually put respect on their name, to be honest.
Nice. Any other considerations at all, or were you straight in for Lloris?
Oh, look, Hugo Lloris was number 1. I mean, he is my favourite goalkeeper. Paul Robertson was number 2. And a cult hero of mine would have been Aurelio Gomez. I know people have their thoughts on him, but you know, I love this guy because at one minute you're looking at a shot and you're like, that's a worldie, and he saves it, and then another minute you're looking at something he should be saving and it's going in. But for me, I like Aurelio Gomez. You know, he was a bit mad. He was a bit of a nutter. Paul Robinson again, of course. You know, he scored as well for Tottenham against Watford with that long kick out. And for me, look, he was a very good goalkeeper as well. But Hugo Lloris has the longevity, you know, and Hugo Lloris, he didn't have to come to Tottenham. You know, he had all the big clubs, and he chose to come here.
Yeah, I suppose it was a little different for the three of us because we've got a few more to choose from, and then you get Eric the Viking and Ray Clements and Pat Jennings. As soon as you start getting Pat Jennings, Ray Clements in there, especially, the choice becomes more difficult. But yeah, it's Hugo. It's a solid choice. Anybody choosing Hugo is a solid choice.
And I do want to stress, this team is based on players from my era.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Okay, my man, right back. And you better get this right because this is my all-time favourite position.
Oh, no pressure. So, look, this has been a toss-up between two players. So, the other one I've ended up moving off to left back just because I can't leave him out. But I'm going with Kyle Walker at right back. I really like Kyle Walker. I mean, he brought pace, power, a lot of energy up and down the wing. You know what I mean? And I just really like what Kyle Walker was about. He really made that position his own. I mean, we signed him from Sheffield United, I think.
United, yeah.
He came to the Tottenham Academy. You know, he was loaned out and stuff like that, but then got his chance and he took it. He never looked back. And, you know, look where he's ended up going to now, to be honest. So for me, Kyle Walker is my right back. I love the guy. I always had a soft spot for him.
Excellent. And any other considerations?
Yeah, the other one who's at left back, so I don't want to ruin it.
Okay. Well,
actually, I can name this one. Chorluka. I really like Chorluka. I really did like Chorluka. I know some people, I know maybe towards the end of his Spurs career, he was making mistakes and stuff like that. But I actually really liked Chorluka. I thought he was very good on the ball. And on his day, he was an absolute rock. So Luca would have been my other one to throw in there.
Ooh, I've suddenly got an idea who you're going to pick for left back now.
I tell you what. I was just going to say, if I was going out on the lash and needed a bit of protection, I would quite happily take Luca.
Yeah,
Safe as houses, no problems.
Okay, then. Here's the surprise. Or should we do the others first and then come to the surprise?
No, go on. We'll go off left back. We'll go off left back.
Go on then,
Dave. A drum roll.
Look, this one, he's an Irishman. I could not leave this guy out. He was a man ahead of his time. He was a modern-day fullback before it even became popular. And it's my guy, Stephen Carr. I could not leave this guy out. I absolutely love him. You know, talk about bombing down the wing. Great. He had a great shot on him as well. Crossing balls in. People that don't know this guy, go and look at him. He was what a Robertson is now today. What a Trent Alexander is now today. He was that back in the 90s and up until 2004 until he left and broke my heart.
Indeed. I mean, I've said this before. When Judas left, I was talking to friends of mine in the pub, and I just said, you know what? I'm glad it's him leaving and not Stephen Carr. Because Stephen Carr meant more to the team for me. It was just that attacking outlet. What a wing back he was.
Some pace on him as well, Hoover.
Yeah.
I'll pick him ahead of Walker, personally. That's how highly I rate him.
He was absolutely rapid. But, you know, I loved it. He had the shaven head. He was stocky. You know what I mean? He was an absolute animal, and he could get stuck in. He loved a good tackle as well. But I absolutely love Stephen Carr. You look at my wing backs. I mean, there's plenty of pace and power there.
There is.
Absolutely.
Them three players already, you know, shaping up to be a great team here, Dave. Really is.
Shall I make a prediction here? And I think you're probably going to have a pair here in the centre of defence. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's go for your first central defender then.
Right. So this one has to play on the left side, and for me, it's Jan Vertonghen. It's got to be the one and only Super Jan. I mean, some of the memories this guy has given me. He was an absolutely brilliant. And look, you know, when he left, Toby didn't look as good as he did beside Jan Vertonghen. I'm sorry. I think maybe we let Jan Vertonghen go maybe too early, because he did come out and do that interview after we let him go, saying that he was still kind of carrying from that concussion and that, you know, he was kind of coming back round from it. But this is a guy that, again, how much do we pay for him? Let me tell people now.
12 million.
12 million. I mean, again, you're talking value for money here. You know, this is a guy that came in from Ajax. You know, he didn't have great pace, but what he did have, he knew how to read the game. He got stuck in, and the guy he loved the goal as well. And for me, I can never forget that performance out in Dortmund, when he actually played left back that day. And this guy, he made me love centre backs. I mean, a lot of my favourite players would be further up the field.
Yeah.
But this guy, along with who I have beside him, actually make me appreciate centre backs for the job they do.
Any other considerations there?
Jan Vertonghen or Toby Alderweireld was a consideration to come in. Michael Dawson as well. I had to put into consideration. But for me, maybe I was. Do you know what? One from back in the day, Chris Perry. You know.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I liked him as a youngster. I liked him as a youngster when he played. But for me, it's always going to be Super Jan. I mean, he made the celebration himself. You know. What a man.
I like when he first joined us. Well, he scored a load of goals for us early on, didn't he? It was a regular thing.
And again, this is a guy that could have left. He could have left well before his time, you know. But he didn't. He loved the club. He loved the fans. And that's what kept him here.
And picked us over Arsenal, because he was in talks with Arsenal, and then we came in and he was like, no, I'm going to Tottenham. So proper status for us, isn't it?
Just imagine how much Conte would love having him in that team at the moment.
Jesus.
Fits the bill perfectly, doesn't he? Okay, now, who would you have as his partner then? That's the real question.
Oh, it's not even a question. Come on, put him in there. It's Ledley King. It's all day long.
I had a feeling it might be somehow. I was surprised, because I thought you were going to go for Woodgate and King.
Woodgate, no. Woodgate's only famous for his winner against Chelsea in the Carling Cup. No, look, for me, Ledley King is a player. I've always admired him. I mean, everybody to this day still talks about how good he was, how good he would have been if he didn't have his injuries. I mean, even under Harry Redknapp, it was killing him to play, like physically, but he loved the club that much. He still went out and played. I mean, you hear players nowadays, oh, well, I broke my toenail last night, so I'm out for the weekend. This guy had no knees. You know what I mean? And he still went out there. He went through pain barrier just to represent the club that he loved. He came through Tottenham. He's a Tottenham boy. Made his debut against Liverpool, and he was the best defender in England for a long, long time. And I mean, this is a guy that probably could have left Tottenham, went to any top team around Europe, and I mean any top team around Europe, but he didn't. And I just respect Ledley. What a man. I absolutely love him. He's my all-time favourite centre-back.
Yeah, incredible player.
Ledley King shows what it is to be a Tottenham player and why it is how you play for Tottenham. I mean, he played with his knees and everything. That man is a proper legend. And legend gets bounded about an awful lot with some players of today. But Ledley King was a true legend. He really was a true legend of the club. And I'm with you, Dave. Yeah, he was a leader of men, and I think he'd be in anyone's top all-time Tottenham 11. He really was. And one good thing, he got to lift the trophy as captain, which is very few things our captains have done. So at least he's in that little bracket where he'll be remembered forever for lifting up.
I cried that day. I was so happy for him. I think every Spurs fan was relieved and happy for him because he deserved it. Look at the pain he went through that season. I mean, he wasn't training. He was going from game to game. Sometimes having to miss games because like Harry Redknapp didn't have him training whatsoever because he'd just break down. His body couldn't handle it. But what he went through just to represent the club and then get the reward at the end. I mean, what a guy.
He literally just did swimming, didn't he? That was the only thing he did.
Yeah. And him and Woodgate in that final, though, the way that we won the final with him, that pairing being so absolutely colossal for us. It was like won the right way, lifted by a captain who had played the right way and played one of the best games ever. It was just because we were up against it that final. We really were, and they were just magnificent. So pleased for him, like you said.
How many won the Ramos that day? I do not know.
No idea. Let's move on to midfield then. Centre of midfield, sort of holding players, if you like.
Not really holding players, to be honest with you. One, I would call a deep line playmaker, and the other one I'd call a box-to-box midfielder. I think it brings a great partnership, and trust me, your minds are going to be blown with this one. So obviously, the first one we have to put in, I'm going with Moussa Dembele. I mean, this guy.
I'm glad honestly, you got the right Moussa there.
Is that right, David?
Huh?
Is that right?
No, that's Matt Dembele. No, we want Dembele, the original, the one and only. Look, this guy, I mean, he was a revelation, wasn't he? He was the best midfielder in the Premier League, probably across Europe at one stage. He was single-handedly could take the ball from defence all the way straight up onto the edge of their box, and it was just a sight to behold because people would be coming in and tackling him, and they'd just be bouncing off him. You could not take the ball off him. You've heard what Spurs players, even to this day, when they're asked who was the best player you've ever seen in training at Tottenham Hotspur or ever seen at Tottenham, they all say Moussa Dembele. You could not get the ball off him. You couldn't get it off him. Look, it was unfortunate the way his career kind of came to an end. He knew his knees were busted. He wanted that big payout in China. I always think, what if we could have kept him until the Champions League final? You know what I mean? Would it have made a difference? Would he have helped? We didn't do it. He didn't want to do it either. He knew he was done. He wanted to go to get that big payout. He couldn't turn it down. But the only thing I would say about this guy is maybe the lack of goals. The lack of goals is probably why people don't talk about him in the breath of a Ronaldinho or players like that. It was the lack of maybe goals that stops him from being talked in maybe the world class bracket. But us, the Spurs fans who watched him, we know he was world class. This guy was an absolute machine in midfield. I've never seen anything like him. He was a rarity. And since he's gone, we've actually struggled to kind of get a grip in that midfield area.
What, with Winks? Oh, no, sorry, you can fit him alongside, can't you?
Do you know what? When Winks played beside Dembele at times, he actually looked good.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Who would you have as his partner then in midfield?
That's the one and only Luka Modric.
Have to be.
It's got to be. Honestly, it's got to be. I mean, this guy, honestly. So when this guy came in, even myself, I looked at him. I was like, what was all the hype about this guy? He's tiny. And you have to remember, when he came into the Premier League, it was in an era where you had a lot of big physical players. It's only over the last, you would say, maybe last 6, 7, 8 years that a lot, like, you're looking for more smaller technical players. This guy came in, a lot of people were like, how's he going to handle the physicality of the Premier League? He's just going to be brushed off the ball. But again, this is another player. Real Madrid, Barcelona, all the big boys around Europe were scouting him, wanted him to come. I believe he could have went to Liverpool as well, but he didn't. He came to Tottenham, and he was absolutely outstanding. He was world class. And look at some of his goals as well. He has some absolute rockets in there. I think he hit one against Liverpool, an absolute thunderbolt.
Wasn't it?
100, yeah, it was an absolute screamer. But this guy, I mean, you're talking about players come in to close him down. They think, just get on top of him. Physically, I'll take him off the ball. One touch, he's gone. He already knows where he's going before you even get there. And he always had time on the ball. He was never under pressure because they couldn't put him under pressure because he was so good with his feet. But not only that, it was his passing range. Left, right, 50 yards if you need be. But it wasn't flat passes either. It was always passes, like if he was going out to the left or right, it was like a progressive pass forward into the runner's path. And his passing was absolutely unbelievable. And teams could not cope with him. In the bigger games, we used to go to him an awful lot because of how technically good he was. And he just, on times watching him, he just had the game on strings. It was so easy for him. It was like everybody else was on strings for him. He was top class. I absolutely love this guy. I love him.
Just pointing out something to some of the comments saying Hoddle and Gaza, but of course Hoddle and Gaza is a little bit before your time, unfortunately, David, isn't it?
Yeah, look, if they were there in my time, I would have picked them, but they weren't. This is throughout my time. It'd be. I don't get me wrong. I mean, I know how great Hoddle was. I know how great Gascoigne was, and everything else. I've watched some of the older games and stuff like that. But I can't pick them because I haven't seen like seasons upon seasons, whereas these guys I have.
And to Alan Harris, yes, we can have just white shirts. Good job, actually. I should have.
Just ask you a question, Dave, on Hoddle and Gaza. If you could pick one and put it into this team, who would you pick?
Oh, lad. See, the ball with Gaza, he brings that bit of bite you need, that bit of shithousery, and he can also score a rocket and just beat 5 players when he wants. You know what I mean? Unbelievable. But then you look at Hoddle, he has all the technical ability you want. He a great passer of the ball, 2-footed. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, to be honest with you, Dermot, I don't want to defend. We need both. You need both of them. You know, both technically good, but one has a bit of bite and one's maybe a bit more of an elegant player. And we just need both of them, to be honest.
That's fair enough. That's a good answer. I'll go for Hoddle myself. How about you, Phil? Which ones would you go for, Hoddle or Gaza, if you could pick one?
What to play in today? I think if you were looking at today's squad, because of the way it fits, I would probably go for Hoddle, but there's literally nothing in it. Because if you were like, oh no, you can't have Hoddle, you've got Gascoigne, it's not like you've lost out, is it? Either of them would.
How good he would be on today's pitches.
Well, that's when we went to the last game. Ellie and I went to a chat with Graham Roberts, and somebody said to him, "How good was Glenn Hoddle?" And he went, "This guy was unbelievable. Didn't matter whether you kicked the ball at him as hard as possible, where it went, he brought it under control." And he went, on today's pitches, he would be up there with Messi and Ronaldo. He said he was one of the game's most gifted ever players. He said the guy was just a phenomenon.
Who would you pick if you had to pick one?
I'd struggle with that. I think if I picked Hoddle, it would be sitting just in front of the back four, and he can rain out those long-range passes to everybody. But then at the same time, you'd want Gascoigne making that forward run for him as well. So ideally both, but I'd have to go with Hoddle just because of the amount of time he was at the club. I've idolised him for so many more years than I've got to idolise Gaza. So and both genius, both slightly different. Yeah,
this squad is crying out for a personality like Gaza's. Though
it is. Right. Well, should we what should we do next? Should we go for your number 10, maybe?
Yeah, let's do it.
Look, Helder Postiga. Come on, we all know it. We all know
just
it.
Be one
I can see Dele Alli getting into this team as well somewhere along the lines.
I'm actually going to surprise everybody. I'm only doing this because I cannot leave this next guy out. But I'm putting Harry Kane in there.
At 10?
Yeah.
At 10?
Yeah. Look, you look at the guy's passing ability. No one can tell me he can't play there. Nobody. And look, we all know I love Harry. I mean, Jesus Christ, if I could have a strand of his hair, I'd have it in a frame. I really would. I really love this guy. But I also love the other guy so much for a lot of other reasons as well. And I couldn't differentiate between the two. So I found a way of putting the two of them in. And for me, I'm going with Harry Kane as the creator in this team. We all know Harry Kane can shoot from distance. We all know he's got a great passing ability. So for me, he's crucial.
Sorry, I talked to my son. Did you go for Harry Kane in the
Harry Kane at 10?
Yeah. You said it the other night, didn't you, Phil, how good he was? You were just lauding him, weren't you?
It was phenomenal. I mean, there was a bit in the second half that got me where Leicester went on the attack, and I think Davies put in a great tackle, squared it in the box, and I'm looking at it going, that's Harry Kane. He tracked it all the way back.
He's done that a couple of times, Phil.
Yeah. You know, he was just he must have hit some miles that night. And yes, possibly, you know, on another night his finishing might have been a little bit better. There was one where he was clean through, but 2 off the line, you know, one off the crossbar. He could easily have banged a hat trick before the half hour. But again, that ball with 20 seconds of the game to go, it's like he couldn't have put it any better if nobody else was there. He was just a phenomenon. And he was so passionate afterwards. He was so excited, wasn't it? It was almost like he just won the Champions League. It was like, you know, we keep saying he's back, but it did feel that he was certainly getting back to somewhere close to the player he was last season.
And all the Harry Kane haters have gone very quiet back under their stones and rocks where they came from. And I think Harry Kane is actually reconnected and rediscovered his love for Tottenham. And I think he'll be here to his end of his career now. He won't be going anywhere.
I think some fans have real trouble letting go of their hatred for players once they start. He'll need to bang an insane amount of goals and to win them back, but he will. So there we go.
He is one of our own.
250th goal the other night for us. You know, they're just another set of milestones that have just come and gone without us. You know, it's like, yeah, we won at Leicester, but 250 goals. You know, the guy's 28.
Indeed.
The guy's about to break the Premier. He has a chance of breaking the Premier League scoring record, and the international one for England. I mean, this guy's just an elite player across the board, club and country. And do you know what? I get pissed off with Spurs fans at times because, like, especially back then, it's kind of like, do you realize what we have here? We have somebody that everybody in the every big club in the world wants. We have him here. And we were so disrespectful. We were talking about dropping him for Bergwijn. We were questioning his love for the club, everything else. And look, I was one of the only ones out there, and I was defending him when it was unpopular. And I still said, say what you want about this guy. He's going to finish the club's top scorer this season, and he's well on course to do it. We're going to see a much improved Harry Kane between, I would say, from the second half of Chelsea all the way through to the end of the season. This guy. And it's just, honestly, I couldn't believe the disrespect we were showing to our world-class players. But I also believe that a lot of Sun fans had their part to play in stirring all that up as well all the time, because they wanted Son to be the main man of the club. They were always comparing Son and Kane, and I was kind of sitting there, I'm like, well, yeah, we can compare them if you want to it. I'll go into it. I'm never going to back down and say Son's better than Kane. But surely we're better off having both of them. It's kind of like people wanted Kane to go so Son could shine, and it's all bollocks. It's all hot takes. You ask Sane and Kane and Son, they want to play together. They want to play together, and they both say that to you. You know, to say that, well, we need to get Kane gone because when Kane plays, Son goes into his shell and bollocks, complete and utter fucking bollocks. And it pissed me off. Sorry, it's not my channel, I apologize. But it pissed me off so much hearing it. Honestly, it was really getting to me. I was getting so angry listening to it. I'm like, so yeah, let's just sell what everybody else wants. You know, a striker like Harry Kane is a rarity in football now. Someone that can play up front on their own, but also be able to hold their own physically and be able to go in behind, but also have the technical ability. Very few players like him in the world nowadays. Lewandowski was getting on. He's nearly finished. Erling Haaland. You know what I mean? And you're probably saying Vlahovic now. Maybe Karim Benzema. But players like these are an absolute rarity. And then you hear people going, oh, well, you know, we need to get rid of Harry Kane now because football's going the way City is playing without a striker. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, of course they're playing without a striker because we wouldn't sell them ours. You know what I mean? It's not that they want to play that way. They're playing that way because they couldn't get ours. So let's stop this horseshit of, oh, you know, Harry Kane's outdated. Football's going the way City is playing. The only reason we're playing that is because we wouldn't offload Harry Kane. If they had Harry Kane, he'd be up there banging in the goals for them. So stop this bullshit. I even see it now. I even see people now criticising Harry Kane after scoring against Leicester, after the performance we're putting against Chelsea. I'm just sitting there, I'm like, why? Why? You know what I mean? The guy's performed. He's done what you wanted him to do, what you were giving out about him doing, he's doing, and you're still not happy. Oh, it's just insane.
Sorry, that's great stuff, David. Totally agree. Wasn't after last season as well? Isn't it fun actually seeing Son and Kane both playing well together? I mean, when they're getting all the goals and assists between them and looking at records there as well, it was a fantastic feeling.
Did they break the record? Did they?
No, not yet. They're about 2 or 3 off it. I think it's Lampard and Drogba in it, but they're only 2 or 3 off. It's only a matter of time.
Just thinking about that away to Southampton last season when wasn't it Sonny with 4 goals, Kane with 4 assists? It was just brilliant working in tandem. Sorry, Phil, cut you off a bit there.
No, it's fine. No, I was just saying I think it's there. Yeah, that record. I'm sure it's high in the 40s, but they're only 2 or 3 behind it. Yeah. So it will come before the end of the season.
Sorry, Cooper, I cut you off a little bit as well.
That's all right. It's all right. No problem. Should we go left wing then, David?
Yeah, let's go. For me, look, it's Gareth Bale. It's got to be Gareth Bale. I see Phil raise some eyebrows. Phil, who would you join?
No, Bale would have to be there, wouldn't he? Especially if you go back and not so much from last season, but first time around, the guy was just he was just epic, wasn't he? You know, goals out of nothing. You know, that last season he had under AVB, you know, whatever it was, 10, 12 goals, but none of them inside the penalty area. They were just he carried that team virtually to a Champions League spot, didn't they?
No, look, there was one against West Ham that really sticks out. I mean, I absolutely
late on, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was unbelievable. But look, obviously, it's the first time round, Gareth Bale. I mean, the second time round, I wasn't impressed, to be honest with you. I thought he took too long to maybe get into the team, properly get fit. But when he did, he showed what he could add. But it was too late by then. You know, it was too late, in my opinion. Obviously, the first time round. I mean, we have to remember, this is a kid that came to Tottenham. He had a lot of injuries, but he was also going through a spell. I think it was 22 games without a win or something like that. You know what I mean? And it was starting to play on him mentally and stuff like that. And he also started out as a left back at Tottenham. And it was when Harry Redknapp came in, he said, no, look, you're going to be left wing. And he completely changed that. I mean, there are two performances. One against Inter Milan out there, where we end up coming back 4-3. Single-handedly, you know, I thought that guy was amazing. But the one at home, the night where he retired, Maicon and Walter Samuel, two of the most best-rated defenders around Europe at the time, and he completely roasted them. He made them look like Sunday League players. They were that bad. And funny enough, Maicon never recovered from that, ever. Never recovered.
Always remember that phrase, taxi for Maicon.
Yeah.
It was just Bale destroyed him. So funny. Any other?
And Maicon had power and pace. Don't forget that.
He did.
Maicon was
Yeah.
fast and he was a strong guy. But Gareth Bale just blew him away. Unbelievable. One of the best performances I've ever seen in football.
It was not only the hat trick in the first tie, but the home game when there was one that didn't quite count, but it was right on the edge of the byline, right at the byline in the penalty area, and he put the ball round one side, and that old trick where he put the ball round one side, run round the other side. He did it. The ball just went out of play, but it took the mickey out of him again. It was fantastic to watch.
Yeah.
Like you said, he was just finished after that.
I think the best thing with that one is where you got Maicon coming up to greet him on the halfway line. He literally just kicks it behind him, and he's like, "See you, mate. See you tomorrow." Literally, and then just squared it for Pav. What a goal!
Yeah.
But the one out out in Inter Milan as well. I mean, the hat trick.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I mean, we were 4-0 down at halftime. I thought, game's over, tie's over, we're finished. And single-handedly, he dragged us back into the tie.
And you even started looking at the clock thinking, is there enough time for one more?
If there was a few more minutes, we would have done them.
Yeah. No doubt about it. Any other considerations left wing? Not really.
No. Do you know what? When I thought left wing, it was the only one that came to mind. I don't really have respect for many of the others.
Fair enough, mate. How about on the right then?
I only like winners, guys. You know that. I only like winners. I don't look. Maybe Shadley. I did like Shadley. I thought he had a good goal in him at times, but I only breed winners around here, and I want to keep this culture in Tottenham, so I do only consider winners. On the right hand side, look, this one tears me up because I really loved Aaron Lennon, but I could not leave this guy out of the team. I had to put him in somewhere, and it's the one and only David Ginola. I love this guy. For me, you know what it was? Back in the 90s and that, back when he was playing, he was the player that stood out most to me with how elegant he was on the ball, how good he was on the ball. He could skin players for a living, this guy. I absolutely loved him. One goal that stands out was the one against Barnsley in the Cup, I think it was. Where he was on the left-hand side, actually, I think. Was it? He cut in, absolutely unbelievable. I had so much respect for him. He was what I wanted to be when I was playing football at that age. Good on the ball, great first touch. Not quite the hair. Wasn't a big fan of long hair. I don't really like long hair. But as a player, I mean, first touch, the ability to be able to skin players, score goals. I absolutely love David Ginola. When this guy got going, he was unbelievable on his day. Unbelievable. He'd rip any fullback a new one.
Of course. It was one of those where literally men wanted to be him and women wanted to be with him. It was
so true.
It was that. It was every part of that. Great choice. And you said Aaron Lennon as a consideration as well, because great love for him. He's a cult hero at the club, certainly.
Do you know what? A bit of doubt. So, like the reason why Aaron Lennon didn't get in was the end product. That's what I came down to at the end. That decision for me.
You said Aaron Lennon as a consideration as well, because great.
But for me, it was the end product is what I came down to, and that's why I picked. And I couldn't leave Ginola out because, like I said, I wanted to be like him when I was younger. So there's no way I could leave him out. But I had to put Gareth Bale in on the left hand side.
Yep, fair enough. And last but certainly not least, be interesting to know who this one is.
I mean, I think you already know, to be honest with you.
I think it's pretty obvious now, but go on.
It's Mr. Cartwheels himself. It's Robbie Keane. Come on, I couldn't leave this guy out. I mean, for me, honestly, growing up watching him for Ireland and Tottenham, it was a dream come true, just to have that. What he was a symbol that boys can make it from Ireland over to Tottenham and play. He was that symbol for me. And when I was a striker back when I was like that age, watching Robbie Keane and all. I was a striker. Obviously, over the years, because of my talent, I was getting brought back a bit because some of the players around me were crap. So I was more like Harry Kane, the orchestrator, where you drop back, ping passes, play people in and stuff. But Robbie Keane, I mean, cult hero for every Irish kid growing up. Everyone around the country was doing his celebration, the old cartwheel, and then the little bit to the crowd. You gotta absolutely love it. But the goals this guy scored, and we look. I know I was angry with him when he left Tottenham to go to Liverpool. I was so happy it didn't work out and he came back. I was absolutely loving it, and I actually think we made money. We made money on that.
Sold him for 20, bought back for 15, didn't we?
Yeah.
A Levy masterstroke. Not.
Was he better in the first time round or second time round, would you say? Yeah, I'm going with Phil there.
What did Phil say?
First.
Darren, where are you at?
I'm just delighted that I'm not the only one who picked Robbie Keane in his Spurs 11. I'm just very delighted that you're the other. I would say the first time, but he had. I think in the second stint he had flashes of brilliance, where he just turned the game for us. But it would be his first stint. But his second stint, it was always there. Yeah. And for me, Robbie Keane's probably one of the best Irish strikers, if not the best, we've ever produced in this country.
Oh, 100%.
He'd be there, like Tony Cascarino and Niall Quinn. They'll always be up there. But Robbie Keane is just that bit better.
Well, he's your leading scorer at international level, isn't he? Yeah.
And he is a leader of men as well. He really is.
Yeah.
Him, Roy Keane and that team, I mean. But I was like you, Dave.
With Robbie Keane, not only could he run in behind, but he could also get on the ball and run at players and make his own chances. He was a very, very, very good player, Robbie Keane. Of course, I think his best thing was when he played up top with Berbatov. I mean, that was an unbelievable partnership to watch. That was literally sex. That was absolutely wonderful to watch Keane and Berbatov. It was one of the best partnerships I've seen in football, watching them two. But with Robbie Keane, what I did love is as well, he was a leader in the Tottenham dressing room. I mean, when Edgar Davids came, Edgar Davids was an arrogant fucker, and Robbie Keane put him in his place. Robbie Keane stood up to him, had fisticuffs with him. He's like, look, you may be Edgar Davids, but this is my fucking thing. As well, he was the reason why he was also a great leader of men is because there was a Christmas party that Harry Redknapp cancelled. But yet Robbie Keane still organised for all the boys to go. And it ended up being beneficial because he said the squad actually needed it at the time. He could feel it. And he took that decision to take that Christmas party. It was actually over in Dublin, behind the manager's back. And look, for me as well, of course, there's always going to be that bias of what he done for Ireland as well. I mean, unbelievable. But I couldn't leave Robbie Keane out. For me, only that Harry Kane has come along. He was my favourite all-time striker. Nobody would ever take. I mean, I've loved some of the strikers Tottenham have had all throughout the years. But until Harry Kane came along, Robbie Keane was the pinnacle. And again, we have to remember this is a guy that has had 2 stints at the club. He left the club, didn't work out, and he came back. When he didn't have to. He probably could have went somewhere else, but he decided to come back and he gave his all. And he loved Tottenham Hotspur. I still listen to podcasts that he talks about Tottenham to this day. He absolutely loved this club. But one thing I will say that they all say is they all talk about Daniel Levy's penny pincher. That is a common theme in all of them, just to let people know.
Absolutely. I was going to say any close seconds, but you've already mentioned one of them.
Berbatov would have been... I know he wasn't at Tottenham for too long, but we can't deny that guy was quality. He was a lazy fucker, but he oozed class. Defoe would have to be there. I like Defoe, a bit of a cult hero. He always scored goals. To give it to the credit to the guy, always scored goals. Do you know what? I like Canute when he was here. I did like Canute. Back in the day, Les Ferdinand, of course, Teddy Sheringham, Jurgen Klinsmann. I mean, the list goes on. We've always had great strikers at Tottenham, to be fair. Chris Armstrong was another one I liked. Maybe probably didn't work out as well as maybe we wanted, but I did like Chris Armstrong. Stefan Everson. Loved a bit of Stefan Everson,
Suppose you're a bit young for Andy Booth, aren't you?
Yeah. Sergei Rebrov.
Yeah. That's a great choice, though. What do we reckon, lads? That team looks pretty good to me.
I tell you, that team for me is probably one of the best we've seen. I have to say.
Jacks?
I was going to say, do you know what?
I tell you, it just.
Have we got Jacks? Can we bring Jacks up?
Oh no, I'm got it at hand. I should have done that, shouldn't I? Give him a rating.
Right. To be fair, I'm going to stick my neck on the block, and Jack's a brother. You know how I feel about both of you, Dave and Jack as well. I'm going to stick my neck on the block, and I'm going to go. Dave's slightly better. I have to say, Jack's going to kill me. Jack's going to kill me for saying this when he sees this, but I just think there's more winners and more. There's more winners in this team. I think there's more that will get pride to wear the shirt. So I say Dave, but just by a neck. Phil?
Yeah, I'm just going to look up Jack's team. The trouble with Jack is he obviously had the pick of the Poch era. So he did have Modric and Dembele, and then I can't remember who he had up front, but let me just go and dig it out. So if we move over to...
We're all having a look there.
He had Son, Bale, Ericsson, Modric, Dembele, Alderweireld for Tongan, Rose, Walker, Lloris. And who's the striker?
Kane was his striker.
Yeah.
Oh, my team would smoke his lad.
Yeah.
Honestly, Stephen Carr is better than Danny Rose. Ledley King is better than Toby Alderweireld.
I've seen these two play FIFA, believe me.
Kane is better than Ericsson.
Yeah, Dave's a Jedi. So
he had Son, Ericsson, and Bale up front with Kane. That I'm sorry, Jack's out does that. Midfield, obviously the same. Your back four was prime Poch. So 3 seasons of the best defence, but I mean, not an awful lot in it.
No, but the only difference is you've got 2 brilliant Irish players in there, so that makes all the difference, and that's why this team's better.
Fair enough.
That's all I'm going to say.
My team's way better. I've got 2 finishers in the team. I've got Kane and Robbie Keane. 2 finishers in the team. I've got 2 class wingers. Yes, Son probably could have put Son in, but I chose to go with a bit of nostalgia with David Ginola. And to be honest with you, prime Gareth Bale is better than Son, in my opinion. So my attack line is definitely better than Jack's, and my defence, I've got Stephen Carr. I mean, it's obviously better.
It's fighting talk, mate. We need to see these teams line up against each other on FIFA.
Yeah. Jack did have prime Bale. He had Bale and Son with Ericsson at 10 and then Kane. So either way, it's a front 4 to die for. That's for certain.
Absolutely.
What was your thoughts on Les Ferdinand, Dave?
Well, first of all, I do want to say it seems like Jack took a bit of a cop-out picking the Pochettino team. It does seem like a cop-out.
Oh, Lord. See, we should have had them on together. That would have ended up in a fight and a round. It's good we separated them.
I guess when you looked at Jack's team, it pretty much was prime Poch, but with the addition of Modric and Bale. You know, instead of your Wanyama or whoever was out on the right, like your Dele Alli. But again, what we talked about was you're only 2 signings away from one of the world's best teams.
Yeah, true.
Whereas I've got the world's best team, lad. I do. You can't sign anybody. The only one that maybe you would maybe put in is maybe Son over Ginola. But I love Ginola, as I said. So for me, I mean, you can't really improve that team.
That is one hell of a good team, I have to say.
I think I'll probably be picking Berbatov over King, to be honest. But I think King and Kane would work very well together.
Did you ever see Klinsmann?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved Jurgen. But look, like I said, Kane and Keane, 2 of my favourite strikers ever at Tottenham, and there's no way I was leaving them out. No way.
That's fair enough. It's still a cracking team anyway.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
And Les Ferdinand, what's your thoughts on him?
Don't really have any thoughts on him, to be honest with you. No, look, he was decent. He was decent for Tottenham. I mean, He scored a few goals in that, but I just don't like the guy in general, to be honest with you, Dermot. I mean, even listening to some of the stuff he does nowadays and all, I just don't like him. I never have done.
No, I know what you mean. I just wanted to get your opinion. I mean, I do understand what you mean. I do probably agree with you on most of what you said, but I just thought I'd him as a striker for Tottenham.
Like he was good when you put the ball in the box and stuff like that for him. But I mean, Robbie Keane, he creates goals and scores goals.
Yeah.
He can create them all running behind, same as Harry Kane. You know what I mean? So, there's no way it's getting near the team.
We can start transforming this into Dermot's team very easily if we just start doing
Ginger Pellet. You got to put Ginger Pellet in there.
Yep. Doherty at right back. Been off Walker. He was rubbish.
The other Doherty.
That's not my team. You know full well that's not my back four.
Gary Doherty, Matt Doherty, Brandon Flowers.
Yeah. Danny Blanche, Flower.
Right. Enough of that.
Chris
enough of that one. Well, that was a great team, David. Anyway, very impressed with that. While we're here, man, I don't know how long you've got available, mate.
Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm here for another little while.
Would you like to do your top 5 Spurs moments? Maybe have you had to think about this one, or putting you on the spot too much? Should we put it down to 3, perhaps?
Yeah, I'll go with my 3. Obviously, like these, some of these would be more personal to me than like maybe. So one of them is returning to the lane after being over in Ireland and not being able to get back over for my old lad's 50th birthday in the year. When we were going for the league, we went to see the Swansea game at home, and of course we ended up winning, which was absolutely delightful. That one was just a personal because, look, anyone that knows me, I love my parents. You know what I mean? I have huge respect for them, and so just being able to get the old lad back over to the lane before it got bulldozed and stuff like that. It was nice to be able to bring him over. The other one, of course, would be the Carling Cup because it's a trophy. We won it. You know what I mean? We got to lift it. Woodgate as well. With the last minute winner. It was the extra time, wasn't it? It went to extra time. He went above Peter Cech. Am I correct?
That's right.
Yeah, you love that, obviously, because it's winning a trophy. I mean, I just ran around the estate giving the fingers to all the Liverpool and United fans and everything that's trolled me saying we'd never win anything. So I absolutely enjoyed that one. And then, of course, Ajax is up there. That is my favourite, because I've grown up, I've always wanted to see Tottenham in the Champions League, but not only compete, it was always a dream to get to the final. And we got there. The fashion that we done it in, unbelievable as well. The emotion. I mean, everyone was crying. Everyone cried when that went in. Once we got to the final, and the run we had up until that, there was a hell of a lot of luck in it. But sometimes you also earn that luck. And I think by not having that never say die attitude from the group stage to the City game to the Ajax game, you would say we probably earned that look, and we got there on merit in the end. And obviously, look, we know what happened in the final. Was disappointed it was over within fucking 10 minutes because of that stupid penalty call. It was an absolute disgrace. But again, being able to sit there and watch a Champions League final with my old lad, with Tottenham in it, is something I never thought I'd ever be able to do. So to have that moment as well, I'll always thank that Tottenham team for that.
Nice.
They're really great moments. Lads, we've actually reached a little bit of a milestone. We've actually reached 300 subs.
Brilliant. You'll have to excuse me for a second.
Carl Simpson there, just bring that up. It's a 300 subs, lads. Get in there. I want to thank everyone who's subscribed. This is only the start of where we're going, and I'm very humbled by this. We've only been going for a little while, and I'm extremely humbled and really amazed we've reached 300 as quickly as we have. But it's been a lot of support from Dave and Jack, but I couldn't do it without the lads next to me. And Phil, you're an absolute delight to work with, and you've put a lot of work into our intro. Not only that, you're one hell of a nice fella, and you're not just a friend, you're a brother, and your family, and that's what it is on this channel. We're all a little family on here. And Phil, do you want to say anything to the people
No,
that
just
once we've
obviously
reached
just
300?
yeah, just a massive thank you. You know, we were sat there before Christmas hoping to kind of sneak 200 before the end of the year, and here we are 3 weeks later. You know, nearly double where we were. So it's just great, and we just hope we'll continue to do what you guys love us doing.
Yeah, I mean, this channel was made by fans for the fans, and that's the Tottenham way. It's always been the way. It's made by four lads under a lamppost. Um, by four lads wanting to do something in the winter to be with their friends, and this club has brought us great memories during the years, and we're going to great memories in the future. So, and Coof, do you want to say anything? Do you know?
No,
us
just
300?
just thank you to all of you that have stuck by us along the journey, and the ones that have recently just joined and made it happen to get to 300. It's been really something, because we really weren't expecting a lot. We thought we'd be lucky to have sort of 50 subscribers by Christmas, and it's just absolutely spiraled out of control. Been brilliant. Sharing all those memories is what it's all about.
It is.
So thank you very much. Sorry, just running around the house.
And also, I
also
want to personally thank Jack and Dave as well for all their support, all their help in the background, all their advice. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Dave's channel. Dave, I always say David's the mothership. Dave come away on Tottenham TV. We come from the Irish Hotspur. Us three would have met if it wasn't for Dave's channel. This man is a legend below. He's a legend. He's a brother. And he's one of the nicest men you'll ever wish to meet. He's a proper gentleman. So is Jack as well. Jack is a proper gentleman. And for the three of us, Dave, thank you for everything you've done for our channel and the advice and the support you give us in the background. And just personally, thank you from all of us.
Honestly, I tell you got to stop thanking me. I mean, it's the work that you guys put in. I mean, you know what I mean? All I done, you came onto the channel now, obviously, but it's you guys that put in the work. You guys that formed together. You guys that are giving up your free time to put the content out there. You know, it's you guys. You know, you're nothing to thank us for. It's all off your own doing. You're the ones that are putting in the hard work. You're the ones that are sitting here doing all the streams. You know, so you guys need to take the credit. I'm absolutely buzzing. I am buzzing for you guys because I mean I love all three of you. You know that. You know that I have a soft spot for all three years, and yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing. It's nice to see that people that came in, supported me, and helped create the shows and everything else, you know, off doing their own thing out there and being successful at it, and I absolutely love that, and I couldn't be happier for you guys. And it's only going to get better and better and better and bigger and bigger and bigger. Because I know you have the work ethic, and I know it's going to happen for you. So keep it up, guys.
And one thing about this pandemic, as it's come to an end now, as we're coming out of this pandemic, thankfully, and we were out restrictions as from tomorrow, most of them. I think you lot in it when you're out restrictions in England and Wales, Phil. When you're out of your restrictions,
drop of a hat with us, isn't it? Changes day to day. Nobody really knows what's going on, do we, Phil?
No, certainly not over here. Obviously, it's different in England. There's obviously plans for it, but over here, we're still being very cautious. So, not an awful lot going on. I think you can get back into sports events as of tomorrow, which, yeah.
If you want a party at Downing Street, no problem. Just waltz in. There's no problem.
Nice.
Anything else you have to check?
What's it? Bring your own booze, is it, in the suitcase or something?
Wine. Bring your own bottle.
Bring your own wine.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have met these two lads if it wasn't for the pandemic. So I know it's been hard for a lot of people.
Yeah. So big up pandemic. Yeah.
I'm very blessed to have met Dave, Jack, and especially these two lads as well, because as I said, they're not just mates, they're brothers, and that's what this channel's all about. It's about family.
Right.
Do we go through some of the comments?
Well, we're here now. Should we let Dave go if he wanted to go on off and do things, or you?
No, look, I'm happy here sitting here jacking each other off. It's good fun.
Fair enough. Well, if we don't have to thank you at all, Dave, and okay, we won't bother. Go over to Dave's channel and subscribe. It's rubbish.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
Okay, yeah, let's do some comments and wrap it up. I think.
Yeah,
we
I
got
think so.
gone through a team. Great team from David. Anyway,
It was.
Right. Matthew Collins said, I do remember Henry said once that when he was at Arsenal, that 1 second he'd have the ball at his feet, and the next thing, King is up the other end of the pitch with the ball on, without him noticing. I like it.
Yeah.
Paul Markey.
We've got a few words for Henri in this country.
Oh, so Jesus! If I watch any more of this, I'll start to cry. Yeah, nostalgia about players gets you every time.
Yeah.
GK Clarkey, Gaza behind the front man. Yeah, would have been a sound down the lineup.
There was a few of those comments sort of came in over that.
Yeah. Gareth Bale at left back instead of Carr. Yeah, could have done that. More options up front for Kane, Klinsmann, Gaza, Hoddle. Again, Gaza and Hoddle couldn't be in David's team before his time, unfortunately. For him. Matthew Collins, what would be a challenge? Would we be picking an 11 from 1882 to 2022? It certainly would.
Oh.
I don't know how you'd even gauge some of them against other players. I mean, somebody from the 1886 or something versus somebody from the 60s versus somebody from the.
Would you change your formation for two strikers there then, or would you still stick with the two that you had, Dave?
Well, if you go for the 1882 lineup, you could have 2 in defence and 8 up front.
Yeah.
So that is the way they play.
When you start thinking of like a certain, I can't remember his name, a guy who used to play for us, Jimmy, someone, never amounted to much, but
probably need a statue to aid with memory.
Graves or something, Jimmy Graves? Jimmy Graves. Where would he fit in your all-time?
Well, anywhere he wants. Difficult one, that.
Just to everybody out there, I still wouldn't change my team. I mean, I get about putting Gareth Bale left back and stuff like that, but I am called the Irish Hotspur. If you think I was leaving out Stephen Carr and Robbie Keane, you can forget it. You can forget about it. It was never going to happen. I was always going to put them in.
Mark Stowe saying Kane would get in any team in any of the top leagues. Yeah, he would. I bumped into him at Tesco's when he just broke into the first team. Oh, was that Kane or was that when we were talking about Bale at the time?
Gareth Bale.
Yeah. A lot of fans wanted Kane to go because Kane wanted to go to Man City because of the lack of ambition of the Spurs board. Yeah, true. Sorry, I'm just been taken up a moment.
If I hit them, do you want to read them, Phil?
That's all right. I'll do them both. It's easier. So just Matthew Collins, who remembers Torricchio? Maurizio, God. Yes. Yeah, I do. He was all right. Quite a fiery little guy, wasn't he?
Yeah. He has a fair few years. He has a decent amount of appearances for Tottenham as well, to be fair to him.
Yeah. So, yeah, Kane the long shot, got to be keen. Cool, that's like a tongue twister. Kane the long shot, got to be keen.
It is. Matthew Collins saying Keane and Defoe were awesome together. They certainly were. Paul Markey, all-time Spurs team: Jennings, Perryman, Blanchflower, King, Houghton, Mullery, Hoddle, Gascoigne, Bale, VDV, and Kane.
Yeah.
Can't be bad.
Line up there.
Sorry, I'm getting interruptions again. Excuse me.
All right.
For Carl Simpson, I could literally get lost for hours trying to work out a best 11. So many factors to take into account. Yeah. Do you know what? It always looks so beautiful to say that, but I guess the problem is you don't know if you could pick Jimmy Greaves to play today from when he was in his peak. Would he fit in as it moved on? He'd have to be there or thereabouts, but it's such a tough ask because it's just generational football, isn't it? And as the generation moves on, so do the types of players. Apart from probably someone like Hoddle, who he could play today. Him and Gascoigne could have played in any era, I reckon.
Yeah. Have we done this one or no? Matthew Collins, what's everyone's opinion on Teddy Sheringham? Great player.
Was a great player.
Easily could fit into that number 10 role on David's team or up front. Just an all-round superb player. Read the game well. Great technical ability.
Didn't have the pace, but a brilliant football brain.
Yeah, exactly. Makes up for a lot of things.
It does.
Mark Cousins, no bias, Dermot, with your Irish brother. Of course not. Matthew Collins, David's 11 is miles better. There you go.
This is a guy that knows football. He knows quality. He knows winners when he sees it.
I certainly wouldn't.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Does Jack's team have any winners in it?
Hugo Lloris won the World Cup. That's it.
No. Anyone that's won trophies for Tottenham?
No.
Mine does, so mine wins.
So Carl, just on your last comment of Carl Simpson obviously knows a lot about football, replies with, "I'm still upset there's no Gary Doherty." Yeah, okay.
I think
my all-time 11 has some Irish players in it as well, so it'll meet the quota for you two. Muffy saying, thing is, Jack and others didn't start supporting Spurs till sort of 2010, 2011-ish, so I've been supporting Spurs since the age of 3, and I turned 33 this June. So, does Muffy win then? Who knows? No. Ryan McFarlane, stop slagging the ginger belly.
I love them. Centre back and centre forward. What more do you want?
Talent? I don't know. Yeah.
I tell you, it's hard.
It takes a rare breed to be able to play both, you know.
Yep, and equally as badly at either.
Yeah.
He's a cult hero. Come on, you gotta love good.
John Charles was another one well known for it, wasn't he?
He really was.
And Leon and Dion Dublin as well.
Yeah.
Brian Island. Evening, mate. What's happening, lads?
Brian.
Just finished with David's best 11. You're going to have to go back and watch it from the beginning, mate.
It's the best one you'll ever see, Brian.
Yeah.
and just for our last comment of the night, just because it's Sean, but big up the pandemic.
Top 5 viruses.
Yeah. Just on that, Sean, do you know who we're blaming for the virus? Daniel Levy.
Yeah, true.
We're blaming for everything else, so you know.
Go then, guys. That's it. That's your comments.
Right, I'm going to put the link for Dave's channel into the chat. And Dave, do you want to give your channel a big plug?
Yeah, look, just if Harry Kane makes the hairs of your neck stand up, he gives you twinges down below that maybe your girlfriend might not even give you at times, you know, and you're just an all-around Harry Kane appreciator. Well, the Irish Hotspurs, you're home, baby. Get over there, smash that subscribe button. But I want people to get behind these boys here. I do. If there's anyone out there that's maybe undecided on smashing the subscribe button or not, absolutely obliterate it, headbutt it, people's elbow it, do what you got to do to it, because these 3 boys are absolute gentlemen. They've always been very nice to me, giving me a lot of their time, you know, and I really like them. They're very, very good guys. And like I said, they have the work ethic to be able to bring this channel forward, you know, and grow it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So make sure you get behind them and give them all the support along the way of the journey. Look, I've been lucky. I've been very privileged enough to be able to have such loyal support all the way through, and you guys are building that. So let's keep going with it. Smash that subscribe button.
Thank you, Jack. We don't like red in this channel. We like white. So get rid of the red. We don't like red.
True.
Well, tonight we will be back. Well, I won't be back, but these two will be back with their. I don't know actually how to describe your show, you two. How would you describe
late night fun show?
Yeah, how would you describe it in one word? Your late night fun.
You can't do it in one word. It's a wind down from the stresses of the week. It's just anything goes, football related or otherwise.
What's the choice of bottle tonight, Kuva?
What's the
choice of bottle tonight? Have you got like Kit Kat vodka or something? Or
no, I haven't. I'm nothing tonight actually. I might just do tea.
Oh, green or a grey experiment, no?
Rum tea. No, I'll find some. I've got a few cans of Guinness actually. If so, break open if.
Actually, just on that, Dave, is the last question.
Good one, Phil.
Betty Lovell or Wilma?
They say redheads have more fun, don't they? What's the redheads one then?
Yeah.
Wilma. Wilma.
Oh,
Wilma. Bit controversial. You're allowed to be wrong, David. It's okay.
yeah. All I want to know is you two. Is the dinosaur top trump coming back tonight? That's what I want to know.
Well,
It might. Who knows? It's a crazy kind of night. I've got a pen and paper ready.
Yeah. Last week we had. I think the standout show for last week was Cody Mack saying Sean about 20,000 times in one thing, which was quite new. But listen, thank you everyone for joining tonight. Thank you for David coming on to the show. Yeah, go on, Dave.
Quickly, like, guys, do you not feel like you're cheating on Adele by talking about Wilma and Betty? No,
She knows that's just jest. Adele's still.
Yeah.
There's no. She's having a little bit of a troubled time. I think she realised I couldn't get out to see her, so she's cancelled her show for the next couple of days. When she says the show's not ready, she's not ready. She's like, "Where's my Hollywood film?"
she's not ready. She's not ready for Mr. Hollywood yet.
Betty's a sort of palate cleanser for the main course. So, yeah,
a bit like your onion barges to your, your lime pickle, whereas Adele.
Oh, you're not well in the head, you know that. You're not.
I'm just quite happy with Sandra Bullock myself. But there you go. That's my opinion.
Oh, joining in with it at last, Dermot. Oh, right. Does the missus know?
You weren't very good on the speed there, Dermot.
Huh?
I said you weren't very good there on the speed for Sandra Bullock.
No, but they know it's me.
It was just a complete demolition, man.
It really was, and it was really just the 44 days really just got me. But we'll end it there. Listen, thank you very much indeed for watching. Thank you, Dave, for coming on. Coover and Phil will be back at 11 o'clock with a fun show. We might be doing something on the weekend. I don't know what we're doing, but if we do, we'll let you know. But for everyone else, thank you for watching. Be careful out there. Enjoy your Friday evening. And leave you out. And you'll never beat the Irish.
English.
Oh,
Irish.
English.
Irish.
English.
Germans.
Okay, for David. For the Irish, then.
Yeah. Irish.
Come on, Belgium.
We've got a guess.
God.